Okay. Thank you and good afternoon. Let me first introduce myself. I am Delvin Pereira. I represent the Rotary District 3220, which again represents Sri Lanka and Maldives. As you know, Rotary is an international organization. I'm the district governor for District 3220, representing Sri Lanka and Maldives. So, well, today also was again one special day because, as you know, the Rotary has been supporting the small and medium and micro businesses as a part of its community and economic development initiatives. So today was one of those initiatives with very special focus on also assisting those who are affected with the recent cyclone and floods disaster. So just to give you a little bit of a background first on how Rotary has been getting on with supporting the SMEs, and then thereafter on how we have been adapting to the situation of the disaster. We started 6 months ago by connecting with SMEs of different groups. There have been women empowerment groups, there have been small-scale SME groups. What we realized is that this group contributes heavily to the economy and they need the support. Then there is on the other side a number of organizations willing to support, but then there are gaps of getting these people connected. For example, there are about 5 or 6 government-sponsored agencies like the NEDA, the Export Development, so many organizations. Then we also have a number of NGOs. In today we have Mother Lanka organization, and similarly we have Women in Management, and so many other organizations who are there as support groups. And we have a number of philanthropists, NGOs, who are willing to support SMEs. So Rotary, on the other hand, is an organization that has a very strong, powerful set of members, and they have connections. So what we have been doing is we have been connecting to these connections locally as well as internationally on supporting or connecting the dots in connecting the SMEs to areas where they could get support. So this is how we have been going on, and we have had a lot of success stories. We have had a number of workshops or capacity building programs through which we have connected types of angel investors, business connections on driving the business, approaches to digital markets, connecting with banks, and so on with many support groups. And we have been following the progress, and wherever necessary, we have been holding hand to support these SMEs to go along their journey. Of course, the unfortunate thing is Sri Lanka as a country, we have had a number of situations to face over the period, starting with, of course, we had the Easter bombing and so many crisis situations that hampered the development of economy. Then we had the COVID, which affected the economy globally. Then we had an economic crisis, one of the worst Sri Lanka has had. And then, of course, we had the recent disaster that we had to face with. So every time that we have been trying, the industry has been growing, we have always been faced with challenges. So the question is how resilient or how we could support our system to be resilient and continue their journey in supporting the economy. Of course, this can't be done alone. The government has taken up a number of initiatives. So whatever support we give, it has to be augmented so that it works together. So just to give you some idea of how we have been supporting, particularly in adapting to the recent crisis. Immediately we faced the economic crisis, we faced the cyclone and flood disaster. We had so many of our international community friends, particularly Rotary districts of other regions, who have been calling us day and night, wanting to know how they could support. We had a group in Australia known as Sustainable Lanka who has been mobilizing resources to help Sri Lanka. In fact, they have been, right now there are a number of groups in Sri Lanka working with us on supporting the immediate disaster support responses. Then we have had groups from India who already, I know, are mobilizing container loads of goods to be sent to Sri Lanka, which will support. Then there are a number of districts in India and many parts of the world who has pledged funding, provided we have defined our course on what we are really going to help. So this is how the whole Rotary world has been preparing or has been getting involved in supporting our immediate disaster. Something I also need to specifically mention, the Rotary International, which has a reach of 200 odd countries, have created DITFA Disaster Response Fund, and they have sent a plea to all these countries with a link for them to contribute as donations, and they are already building up a fund which until March 31st is kept open, and that fund will be available for us to use for whatever supporting initiatives that we are doing. So along with this, of course, we have not forgotten our SME initiatives. So we have spent some time identifying how we could support the SME sector, those affected from the SME sector, and how we could connect them. We have been working with getting them connected with banks in having access to some of the financial support that banks have been extending through the central bank, and many avenues that we have been supporting. We are just hoping that there would be some further relief to support this segment, because they have had enough of their own problems, challenges of running SMEs. We have had so many moratoriums from banks, so the question is whether we can afford another moratorium. But I think at this time, probably it might be a good idea also if banks could give us some short term of a moratorium for these SMEs to have some breathing space in getting over their financial problems. So just to give you a few idea, today's program we had a number of SMEs organized through the Mother Lanka organization, and we had some very fruitful discussions, and we see so many opportunities that how we could support them, particularly linking them to expanding their trade horizons. So we are working right now. We have made note of a number of initiatives that we could support them to continue. Just to speak a few words in Sinhala, ඔබ දන්නා පරිදි රෝටරි කියන්නේ ජාත්‍යන්තර ආයතනයක්.
මම මද ශ්‍රී ලංකා ආයතනයේ සභාපතිනි ජානකී කුරුප්පු මේ කතා කරන්නේ. අපි ව්‍යවසාය සංවර්ධනයේ ශුද්‍ර හා සුළු ව්‍යාපාර කරන ව්‍යාපාරිකයන්ගේ ව්‍යාපාරය දියුණු කරලා දෙන්න දැන් අවුරුදු 10ක පමණ ඉඳන් වැඩසටහන් කරනවා නොයෙකුත් වැඩසටහන්. නමුත් අපි දැකලා තියෙන ලොකු අඩුපාඩුවක් තමයි මේගොල්ලන්ට දෙන උදව්වල මේ තියෙන ලොකු අඩුපාඩුවක් තමයි වෙළඳපොළ අල්ලා ගැනීමට දෙන සහයෝගය මදි. ඒ හැම ව්‍යාපෘති වලින්ම ගොඩක් දුරට භාණ්ඩයක් හදන්න ඒකට අවශ්‍ය මැෂිනරි ලබා දෙන්න, ඒකට අවශ්‍ය දැනුම ලබා දෙන්න කරනවා මිසක් ඊට පස්සේ ඒගොල්ලන් දිගටම වෙළඳපොළ අල්ලගන්නේ කොහොමද, මේ තරඟකාරී තත්ත්වයට මුහුණ දෙන්නේ කොහොමද කියන තැන අඩුපාඩු තියෙනවා දැකලා අපි මද ශ්‍රී ලංකා විසින් ඒ පිළිබඳවම විශේෂයෙන් අවධානය යොමු කරන සුළු සහ ශුද්‍ර ව්‍යාපාරිකයන් දියුණු කිරීමේ වැඩසටහන අපි කරන්නේ. ඉතින් එතෙන්දී අපි අලුත් නිෂ්පාදන නිමයලා ඒකට උදව් වෙනවා ප්‍රොඩක්ට් ඩෙවලොප්මන්ට් වලට. ඊට පස්සේ ඒක බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් කරන්න, ඒක පැකේජ් කරන්න සහ වෙළඳපොළ අල්ලා ගැනීමට ඒගොල්ලන්ට අතහිත දෙනවා. අපිම වෙනම වෙළඳපොළවල් පවත්වනවා විවිධ තැන්වල. තවත් නොයෙකුත් රීටේලර්ස්ලාට ඒගොල්ලන්ට යන්න ක්‍රමයක් හදලා දෙනවා. තවත් බැංකුවට අපේ ලංකාවේ ගොඩක්ම මේ මිනිස්සු හරිම දක්ෂයි, මහන්සි වෙලා වැඩ කරනවා. නමුත් ඒගොල්ලන්ට අර ඉස්සරහට යන්න දියුණු වෙන්න මීට වඩා ඉක්මනට යන්න පුළුවන් මාර්ගයක් හදලා දෙන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා තමයි අපි උත්සාහ කරන්නේ. දොරවල් ඇරලා දෙන්න ඒගොල්ලන්ට බැංකුවකට ගියත් එතෙන්දී ඒක කරගන්න දන්නේ නැත්නම් අත්දැකීම් නැතිකමට හරි දක්ෂතාවය නැතිකමට හරි ඒ බැංකුවත් සමග කතා කරලා ඒ වැඩේ කරගන්න අත්දැකීම් නැත්නම් වෙළඳපොළ අල්ලගන්න ඒ අත්දැකීම් නැත්නම් අන්න ඒ වගේ අපේ දැනුම සහ අත්දැකීම් පාවිච්චි කරලා ඒගොල්ලන්ට ඒ දොරවල් ඇරලා දීලා මේ ව්‍යාපාරය ඉක්මනට දියුණු කරලා ඒගොල්ලන් තවත් ඉහළ මට්ටමකට ගෙන තමයි අපි අරමුණු කරගෙන දීර්ඝකාලීනව මේ වැඩසටහන කරගෙන යන. අද අපි රෝටරි සමාජය සමග එක්වලා ඒ සඳහා තවත් වැඩමුළුවක් තිබ්බා. විශේෂයෙන් තෝරාගත් ව්‍යවසායකයන් කණ්ඩායමකට මේ අවස්ථාව ලබා දුන්නා. ඒගොල්ලන් අතරිනුත් අපි තවත් තෝරගත්ත සුළු කණ්ඩායමක් මේ ඉදිරි පියවරට ගෙනියන්න සුදුසුයි ලෑස්ති සහ උනන්දුව තියෙනවා කියලා අපි දැකපු අය. ඉතින් ඒකට මම විශේෂයෙන් ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා රොටරි සමාජයත් අපිත් එක්ක එකතු වෙලා අපි දෙගොල්ලොන්ටම මේක අපි ඇක්චුවලි ගොඩක් ආයතන තියෙනවා මේ සඳහා වැඩ කරන. අපි එකතු වෙලා වැඩ කරොත් අපිට මේට වඩා ලොකු ගමනක් යන්න පුළුවන් අපේ රටේ මේ ව්‍යවසායකත්වය දියුණු කරන්න. නිසා එහෙම තවත් වැඩමුළුවක් තමයි අද මෙතන පැවතුනේ. අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා ඒගොල්ලන්ව ඉක්මනටම අපිට මේ ඉහළ මට්ටමකට ගෙනියන්න අතහිත දීලා දියුණු කරගන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි කියලා.
There are around 29,800 SMEs that have been impacted from the cyclone, and since almost 52% of the SMEs contribute to the GDP of the country in a large scale, Rotary has this time as a flagship project identified that SMEs are the group of people who should be supported, so that when you help a small medium enterprise, it also helps in giving education to the children in terms of having hygiene, nutrition, food, and also you tend to have the ability of giving sustenance to the family. So in line with that, the district governor this year has declared that small medium enterprise is the focus in terms of driving the activity. Now in line with that, we have had programs across the country starting from Gaul to Kurunegala to Jaffna with certain organizations specialized in SMEs like the Sri Lanka Standards Institute, ICTA, AmCham. So we've been having programs right across. And today we tied up with Mother Lanka plus ENEDA in terms of looking at a new segment of small medium enterprises in terms of what the skill development is required. So in terms of rebuilding Sri Lanka, we have also identified 4 SMEs that have been impacted from the training we have done, and from those 4 we are seeing as to how we could help them to get back to business as our contribution to the country. So it's a long journey which is been started. Rotary is having some macro initiatives that they are doing in terms of supporting the rebuilding process of the country. But what is more important is the product, and the most important idea that was launched today is the Made in Sri Lanka label. So Rotary is very much behind the National Enterprise Development Agency NEDA in terms of driving the Made in Sri Lanka label across all the small medium enterprises, and that will be done in all the future activity which we do, so that we can see as to how to take the Made in Sri Lanka label not only in Sri Lanka but among the world of Rotary.
Thank you.
Can I?